Okay. Do y'all know if there were still a couple people out there? Or we good? Okay, awesome. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I only have one announcement before we get rolling, and I think it's my usual one, but just be sure to be mindful of the mask mandate that's in effect in the room, unless you're eating or drinking. But if y'all please be mindful of that. But are there any questions before we get started? All right, awesome. I now call to order the November 9th meeting of the Associated Student Body Senate at 7:38 p.m. We will now have a moment of silence given by Senator Neighbors.
We would like to dedicate this moment of silence to former Ole Miss student Madison Dubinsky, who tragically lost her life this past weekend. Please join me in a moment of silence to pay our respects to Madison and her family. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Neighbors. We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance given by Senator Wall. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, Senator Wall. The clerk will now call roll.
Okay, on the your proxy, please say here. Amwell.
Here.
Ashmore.
Here.
Beard. Here. Urgent. Here. Cooper. Here. DeQuilla. Here. DeBell.
Here.
Day. Sedner.
Here.
Dermody.
Here.
Drury. Here. Greenwald.
Here.
Gully.
Here.
Harris. Here. Hertz. Here. Hollowell.
Here.
Howell. Hughes. Here. Jackson. Here. Kelly. Over here. King.
Here.
Ladner. Here. Matson.
Here.
Miles.
Here.
Monroe.
Here.
Murphy.
Here.
Neighbors. Here. Nelson.
Here.
Osmond. Here. Patterson.
Here.
Pierce.
Here.
Ricketts. Here. Roberts.
Here.
Roby. Here. Roebuck. Ross. Here. Ryan. Here. Saloon.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Soto Lopez. Stradinger. Turner.
Here.
Wall. Here. Watts. Williams. Wilson. Here.
You got Jones Burdick on Zoom. And then, did you call Johnston? I didn't hear that one.
Oh, gosh, you're good.
Okay, awesome. That was everybody, right? Awesome. Thank you, Secretary Hayward. We will now move into a period of reports. If you have nothing to report, please say no reports. The Committee on Rules.
The Committee on Rules passed resolution 21-12 and 21-13 and bill 21-19. The Committee on Rules also approved Principle of Inclusion and Cross-Cultural Engagement, Amy Flores, Xenia Minton, Chief of Staff Ella Endorf, and Deputy Chief of Staff Katie Williamson, and Sue Buckles.
Thank you, Senator Osmond. The Committee on Governmental Operations.
The Committee on Governmental Operations is approved for consideration Senate Bill 21-19 and Senate Resolution 21-12, and is presenting both of those tonight. Governmental Operations is also working with Department of Justice to finalize the code revision process.
All right. Thank you, Senator Ryan. The Committee on Inclusion and Cross-Cultural Engagement.
No reports.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Jones Burdick. The Committee on Athletics.
Yeah, just a quick announcement. Everyone should have got an email today regarding students who no longer be charged going to basketball games. So this point forward, all basketball games for the rest of the season will be free. And if you did buy a ticket for this game or another one this week, then you will be refunded for that.
All right. Thank you very much, Senator Dedman. The Committee on Student Life.
The Committee on Student Life altered and passed resolution 20-13 and 20-14, and after further consideration of the proposed HR plan available to faculty detailed in an email sent to Student Life, I have asked the Committee on Rules to rescind resolution 20-14. So tonight only 20-13 will come to the floor.
Thank you, Senator Kelly. The Committee on Infrastructure.
So facilities management is going ahead with the crosswalk 5KA, and also they are getting a wheelchair accessible cut in front of me.
All right. Thank you, Senator Hertz. The Committee on Academics.
executive counterpart, Evan Rains, coming to our committee meeting today. And so she's going to help work with us on the Honor Society Task Force Evaluation packet that one of our senators is working on. So we're really excited to work with her and the Salvador Parksville Honors College to finalize that packet and hopefully get it sent out by the end of the year.
Awesome. Thank you, Senator Neighbors. And the Committee on External Affairs.
Okay, so I want to go and thank everyone that came to the town hall last night. I thought it went really well. We got some really good information, made sure the student voices were heard on a larger scale. And going on to that, I just wanted to put forth one of the opportunities that Mayor Tano talked about. If anybody is free tomorrow at 6 p.m., I don't know if you guys have checked the Oxford Instagram page or anything, but they're having like a huge event, like the starting of the Christmas lights. It's like a Christmas vacation type of deal with like 2 big RV chargers. Should be really cool. They have like bands, they have a choir behind her. It'll be like a really kind of cool event to kind of start off not only the winter season, but also with college game day coming. Second thing, we will be having another farmer's market. I had it finalized yesterday. It's gonna be in February during Valentine's Day week. So that'll be something cool that students can get involved on. And this is really, really important. So important, I'm gonna talk at the very end about it one more time. But we have the Alderman meeting coming up. So we had the first reading, which went really well, no problems, flew through, great. But now we're coming up onto the second meeting. It's gonna be at 5 next Tuesday, I'm pretty sure that's the 16th. Really, really important. I just was texting with Richard earlier, but people will be excused if you do decide to come to it. They'll be excused for the first part of setting in case we miss it. I don't know if we will. And you'll also be getting a community engagement point from it. When I'm talking big deal, this is like a very big deal, because if we're able to properly represent the students when it comes to this, if there is any type of like pushback from cab drivers, from any random parents willing this that are upset about something for some reason, we're gonna be there for the pure fact of like making sure it moves on through. I kind of win as we don't have to talk at all. But if we have to stand up for something that we think the student body would appreciate and would really use, make everything can just flow better, we will have to. So again, it is going to be, mark your calendars if you do want to go, the 16th at 5 p.m. And besides that, nothing.
Thank you, Senator Mattson. Okay, we will now hear reports from Legislation Monitor Miller on the routing of passed legislation.
SB 2116 and SB 2118 were both signed by the Dean of Students on 10/23. SR 2111 was signed by the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs on 10/21. SB 2117 and SR 2110 both were signed by the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs and Chancellor on 10/21. These pieces of legislation have now been fully signed and sent to the DOJ and PR teams. SB 2119 and SR 2112, 2113, and 2114 were sent to the Lead Bank on 11/6, following approval by the Rules Committee. The 17th edition of the senatorial comment was sent out on 11/8, and SR 2114 was spelled by the Rules Committee on 11/8 and will not come to the floor tonight. This piece of legislation has been signed by the Chair of the Student Life Committee and the ASB Secretary to close out its routing process.
All right, thank you, Legislation Monitor Miller, and the senatorial comment looked great as always, so thank you for that. We will now hear a report from Executive Liaison Hall on behalf of ASB President Atkins.
Hi, okay, so a couple of things. First off, we just want to emphasize how important our opportunity to support the sustainment of the health grant is. This grant is essential to its recipients. Having necessary access to education and supporting this initiative is crucial. We have the possibility to give back to students the decision-making power on issues that directly affect their lives. Please, we implore you to make the decision. We implore you to make the choice to stand up for what is right. Also, everyone should have access to the cabinet policy agenda where you can see all the objectives that the cabinet is tackling regarding mental health, community engagement, academic fairness, and more. So please let me, the cabinet COS or PCOS know if you're having trouble accessing the doc. That's it for tonight, right? Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Liaison Hall. We'll now hear a report from Campus Liaison Newsom on constituency engagement opportunities and some student opinions submitted to the Senate.
Hi, constituency engagement opportunities are in the senatorial comment per usual. And there were actually like a record-breaking amount of student opinion forms submitted about the basketball tickets, but considering previous announcements, I don't think it's really necessary to read those at this point. one about parking for South Residential, so I will go ahead and read that. The overflow parking for South Residential is at the JC. How am I supposed to walk all the way from JC to my house late at night or during the busy day? I think that overflow should be in the law school parking lot or somewhere at least on campus to assure that each member parking in South Residential has a spot to park near their house for their safety and the safety of those with them. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you, Liaison Newsom. And just FYI to senators, if y'all are curious about what those were, Liaison Newsom can make those available to you. So, all right, we will now move into a period of introduction of bills and constitutional amendments. Is there an author present for Senate Bill 21-19? All right, you may come forward. All right. Yeah, y'all can take the podium out. Yeah, y'all good. All right, authors, y'all will have 5 minutes.
Okay, hi everyone. So obviously, if you can read the title, the aspiration here is to implement an attendance policy for the president's cabinet. GovOps work with Morgan Atkins and Chief of Staff Ella Endorf and Deputy Chief of Staff Katie Williamson to add an attendance policy very similar to the one that we follow in Senate. And I'll let them kind of explain the criteria for the attendance policy that they gave us in governmental operations to write this legislation with.
Yeah, so if y'all don't know me, hello, my name is Ella. I'm the Chief of Staff, and we really wanted to kind of model our attendance policy off of what you currently use. We have a great cabinet this year, and we have not had attendance issues. We just really want to create a system of accountability for future cabinets so that if there are issues, they have kind of a system that they can handle them through. So in doing that, we want to have 4 unexcused absences for the entire year rather than a set number per semester, because we know things can kind of come up as the year progresses. So we're looking at 4 per year. And then once they hit that 4, we have a meeting with them, kind of a come to Jesus moment, and reevaluate if cabinet is the right place for them or if they would be more effective in another position. That does not count excused absences. If someone has something that they need to be excused for, they can absolutely get excused. And then lastly, within this, we added constituency engagement points. It's similar to what y'all do, and obviously we are not elected, but we are part of the Associated Student Body. So we think it's really, really important that we try to get out there and meet the people that we're representing when it might be through programming or serving on chancellor's standing committees. We just really want to be sure that cabinet is just as plugged into the student body as y'all are. Thank you.
Okay, do you have anything?
Nothing really to add except for just to reiterate that these are things that cabinet already really does. They just haven't been on the books, and we're just trying to rectify that.
Yeah, and the main point of this bill is to ensure that all members of ASB are held equally accountable. So it's sort of like, obviously us senators were held accountable through that policy, and the cabinet already does a good job of keeping their members accountable. This is just to make sure there's a set process through which this will be done and performed, should that problem arise in the future. And yeah. Maddie?
And we urge you all to vote in favor and yield the remainder of our time.
Thank you, authors. Is there anyone wishing to question the authors? Yep, Senator Green.
How'd you come up with 4?
Did the authors yield? You, okay. Go ahead.
So we just used the kind of format that you already have, and I worked with President Atkins to find a number that we felt suited our needs.
Also, it's the same amount of absences that senators are allowed as well. So, equality here and accountability.
Yield the remainder of your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone else wishing? Senator Matson?
To the patrons, you have possible series of questions.
You don't need to say that anymore.
Okay, cool. Just a quick question about how often you guys meet. Purely, so 4 for ASB kind of fits in my opinion, purely because we meet so often. It feels like it's every week, kind of combining also with committee meetings. I was wondering how many times you guys meet, because that might differ whether or not it should be the Senate version or you guys' version.
Yeah, that's a great question. Right. What?
No, go ahead with the numbers.
Okay. Right now, we currently meet once every 2 weeks, but that is notwithstanding any like serious issues that come up or emergency meetings. And we really wanted to leave some flexibility in here because previous cabinets have met once per week. We right now find that the biweekly system works pretty well, but provided that something comes up, again, we just want to build that flexibility into the bill. That way we aren't kind of curtailing the ability of future cabinets to work well.
Plus, I mean, those biweekly meetings are what goes on the books. That's not counting the monthly standing meetings that each member has with Ella. That's not counting the policy meetings they have with me. That's not counting their attendance on the committees that we put them on for the university. That's not counting when they go to 365. So there's a lot more that goes into it. We would not allow a cabinet member to just come to the biweekly meetings and call that their turn under no circumstances.
You'll ever end my time.
Thank you, Senator Madsen. Is there anyone else wishing to question the authors? Okay. If there are no objections, we will now move into a period of debate. Awesome. Thank you, authors. Take a seat. Okay. Is there any senator wishing to debate this bill? Okay, Senator Wilson.
I think Ben had a good point. I do think that seems like a lot of action, just considering that they meet every 2 weeks. I yield the floor.
Okay, thank you, Senator Wilson. Is there anyone else wishing to debate this piece of legislation? Yeah, Senator Hollowell.
I think that they articulated a good point about 4 absences being like, so this would be, future, defining on future administration. But I guess you could enact something stricter if you wanted to. The code is kind of just like the bare minimum. So I guess if the president wanted her cabinet or his cabinet in the future to have, 2 absences stay within the cabinet, then they could. This would just be like a bare minimum that they're setting, that if they want to go back to weekly meetings, they could. And then, bi-weekly meetings.
Thank you, Senator Hollowell. Senator Monroe.
So I just want to clarify that in Title VII, the Code of Ethics, it also states that all senators and ASB members must be working to improve not only the current Senate and ASB members, but also for the future. So part of that reason that we go forward is to, as people have already said, make sure that there's room for future cabinet members to do weekly meetings and what they see necessary. So it's a future precaution as well as taking into account what's happening in the current time period.
Okay, you yield the remainder of your time, Senator Monroe. Okay, thank you. Senator Wall.
I was just gonna say, like, again, like, since there's been this whole scenario, like, this was a good starting place, we're just about this. So, I mean, I think we're fine right now, we'll just have to look and, yeah, I think we'll do it for the remainder of my time.
Okay, thank you, Senator Wall. Is there anyone else wishing to debate this piece of legislation? Okay, if there are no objections, we will suspend the rules and move into a period of author summation. Great. All right. Do the authors wish summation time?
No. Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay. The authors may come to the front.
Hi, so if you don't know me, I'm Katie. I am the DCOS. This is my second term and this is my third cabinet. One thing I just wanted to say about the leniency of the 4 absences is that
I've never seen people take that many unless it's a case for their mental health. And that's something that I've seen for past cabinets be a problem, that we run people into the ground. Cabinet members are not only responsible for coming to those biweekly meetings, they are responsible for a very lengthy and far-reaching goals that not only they that not only they that not only they set for themselves, but that comes from the whole body. And the reason why we seem to have such a lenient absence policy is because I've had members come up to me in the past and say, I cannot pour from an empty cup. I cannot do this. And my only other option is to leave my term of service, which is not what anyone wants, particularly when these are people who are putting their all into what we've set out to do here. So I would just urge you to pass this with the 4 absences, because people are, because in my 3 years on cabinet, I've never seen people take advantage of that, if not to take very concrete strides toward being a better cabinet member. Is there anything you want to add?
And at the end of the day, guys, this bill's whole point is to ensure accountability. At the current moment, there is no solid attendance policy put in place. So as Senator Wall said, this is kind of the beginning, and we can tweak it in the future. So yes, I encourage y'all to pass this bill. That's all.
You know the remainder of our time.
Thank you all. Okay. Give them a moment to go back to their seats. All right, if there are no objections, we'll suspend the rules and vote by acclamation. Awesome. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Okay, then by unanimous vote, Senate Bill 21-19 passes. All right, we will now move into a period of introduction of resolutions. Is there an author present for Senate Resolution 21-12? All right, you may come forward. Sorry. I got it. I'm sorry. You're good. Y'all have 5 minutes.
Does this count? Hi, everyone. I really wanted to address this bill as really looking at the future of Mississippi, because I think there's a lot at stake with very little time left. And that's really, really pressing and in a lot of ways terrifying. So the HELP grant, if you haven't heard by now, and hopefully you have, considering I spent a lot of sleepless nights just making flyers and making email templates about this stuff, is in jeopardy, right? And it's our only public need-based aid program in the state. And it's for people who are marginally, and if not marginally, only, only able to go to college because of it, right? And that was my situation when I got to college. And I was really lucky to be able to have that resource. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed in the state, and I wouldn't have felt as comfortable as I did getting to college, because it's what made me able to go. That's why I'm here. That's why I can talk to y'all. I think that, for one thing, the thing that we're fighting against is the revision, right? In the state legislature in January, and right now it's a developing situation, and we'll find out more, they're considering this thing called the 1 grant model, essentially going to cut almost all financial aid to be dispersed among more people that who they are in turn going to give less money to. And for a lot of reasons, we can talk about it, we can debate, we can kind of like extend this stuff, but I think it's a matter of equity, and it's a matter of feasibility, it's a matter of looking for the future, being prudent with where our funds are going and who it's going to empower to actually go to college, because there's a lot of gaps to financial aid and to financial considerations for getting to college that aren't being addressed with this legislation that's going to be coming to the floor. I'm happy to talk more about this, but I'll hand it over to somebody else.
Okay, so what ASB's like role here is, and like what we see at fault. So we believe, or us up here, we believe that financial aid decisions should be student-centered, data-driven, and goal-oriented. So like, what does that mean? So student-centered, primary beneficiaries should not be the institutions, but should be like thought in mind as the students. The students are the ones that are paying for the higher education, and they are the ones that are going to take it out and take it to the workforce. So therefore, they should be like primary in the thoughts. And when we consider students first, it makes a path for state goals and institutional practices to align with creative solutions that best serve the students. So I can't feel like that's honestly a no-brainer in the student Senate. Data-driven. So any widespread policy change, I mean, this is just textbook basics, should be heavily analyzed and sourced from research collected by professionals and relevant to those impacted by the policy. I don't know if y'all read any of the links that I sent out in the senatorial comment, but if you read those press releases, this decision for the Mississippi One grant was not heavily researched. And this isn't just widespread policy change. It affects every high school student in the state, every potential high school student, those who may want to pursue higher education. It affects the parents of these students. It affects the campus communities where if these students, you know, who would be the recipients of these state-sponsored financial aids, like don't attend, that gap that would eventually result in. There are many parties involved with this change, and it's strange that the post-secondary board never intended to pull the public in this decision. That's a quote. And then goal-oriented. Let's think about where Mississippi's education system is today. So per US News, Mississippi ranks 43rd in K through 12 education, has the lowest high school graduation rate, has an average teaching salary of $45,000, the lowest in this country. And not to mention 28% of Mississippi children are below the poverty line, which is the highest in the country. We should be maintaining, not eliminating programs that serve students with ACTs lower than 20, because our average ACT in this state is 17. We should be maintaining, not eliminating programs that serve students who come from low-income households. We should be maintaining, not eliminating programs that serve our state's current condition, and that should be a priority. Mississippi One grant is not a solution that provides for the goals of our state and the goals that we should be focusing on, which at the most basic level should be improving access to quality education. The state needs to evaluate with this new grant system, like who it intends to serve and who they leave behind. As next generation of leaders, our contributions to the state matter. Mississippi students matter, no matter the income, the school they graduate from, how exceptional they perform, what dreams they wish to accomplish in the future. Therefore, we all urge you to vote in favor of this resolution condemning a poorly publicized and ill-researched proposal that is advanced in Mississippi's legislative body. I yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you, authors. Is there anyone wishing to question the authors? Okay, and then if there are no objections, we will move into a period of debate. All right, thank you very much, authors. Okay, is there anyone wishing to debate Senate Resolution 21-12? Yeah, Senator Mattson.
I guess this is also strong there, but I see us as student representatives. That means it doesn't really matter where you're from, like what your major is, any of that type of stuff. We actually only have one goal, and that's to represent the student body. And I see within that, there's a lot of cool things that goes on in Ole Miss, but the number one most important thing that we should be protecting with all the power that we have is to ensure that people have the ability to go here. And this is just directly flaunting that in the face of, I feel like a lot of what it means for there to be financial aid and for this to be a diverse, equitable community in Ole Miss. Like, I am just, I'm surprised and a fair bit of appalled when this whole change came up to ballot. And this is something that ASB needs to take a stand on, purely because I don't think a whole lot of other people will. Because this is something about students, it's something that affects students negatively, and I don't see anybody else calling for any type of change against it. So this resolution, in my opinion, needs to pass, and it needs to pass unanimously. I yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Senator Matson. We'll go to Senator Neighbors.
So kind of my own opinion on this bill or this resolution first. Ultimately, if you have read the bill or the resolution, you'll note that it's giving like the same amount of money to more people. So that means actual like less money in those people's pockets. So it's not fully funding anyone to go to college anymore like it was under the three separate pieces of the proposal. And so this Mississippi One proposal really does take away from students that needed to go to college and needed to go to college in the state. And furthermore, it incentivizes students to go out of state to look for more financial aid. So it's really damaging to the Mississippi or academic institutions. And then secondly, as academic chair, I forgot to mention earlier that this piece of legislation passed through our committee last week. And we're in full support of this resolution to maintain that academic freedom and fairness should be the primary goal of this body, university, and the state. The other authors of this legislation have done a phenomenal job researching and detailing the negative effects of the Mississippi One proposal. And I hope you will join us in passing this resolution tonight and voicing our serious concerns that we have as students advocating for academic equity in Mississippi. Thank you. I yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Senator Neighbors. We'll go to Senator Monroe.
Yeah, guys, I just want to stand out for this bill. What the state legislature is doing right now is unacceptable. We need to voice our discontent with that. They're using the buzzword of equality for the sake of equity right now. They're giving money to more people, but less people are actually going to be able to use that. So in reality, this is a malignant attempt by the state legislature in order to save money while putting our students' education in jeopardy. Not to mention, this is also going to disproportionately affect minorities. It's going to lessen access even further than is already in reality, like how little access to low income communities is going to make it worse. So I am standing in opposition to this bill. We should pass by unanimous consent. I need to remain my time.
Thank you, Senator Monroe. Senator Harris.
Yes, I truly do support this bill. Just like the previous senator said, there very much is sacrificing equity for what they think equality will be in this situation. We gotta think about our job here is to make sure we serve as a voice for the voiceless, a voice for people who don't have the same opportunities to come into rooms and vote on these type of bills or resolutions, are not able to make such a big change, not due to the fact that they can't, but just due to certain resources that we have that they don't. And with me saying that, our job is not only here to make the road easier for the students that we have now, but also for the students to come. This will impact minority students and other students of any other color students that they're not comfortable with. As a student who is fully funded here at the university, not through this scholarship, but through another scholarship, I see the financial burden it took off from me now and what it would do for me in the future. And I having to owe the school so much debt. And I feel like all students should have that right to come and receive a higher education, to not be limited. So many students will not be limited to probably go to a community college, which is nothing wrong. But like most students do want to come to like a 4-year university and won't have that like start or anything due to the financial burden that will be placed upon them. So just please take that into consideration. Some students are not as blessed and fortunate as others to continue their education debt free.
Do you yield the remainder of your time?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. Thank you, Senator Harris. We'll go to Senator Hollowell.
So yeah, I saw that the president of Tuesday, Martino, wrote a op-ed today talking about defending this resolution as he's a member of the post-secondary board that has made this recommendation. His theory is that it's going to incentivize high-performing students to stay in the state. I just got to say, that's not true. I don't think getting money to go in-state is really what is driving people to the state. I think it's easier to go to a school that's far away from home, go to a more prestigious school. I just don't think it's true. I really think that if we're going to raise the level, I think the goal in Mississippi is to get 55% of the workforce to have a college education. I think if that is your goal, you have to help people that need help. That's what this aid is for. If a school wants to recruit people they can recruit the talented people and use their own money, but I think the state is providing money from the taxpayers. I think we should help people really need help, and I think it's really despicable that this proposal, overwhelmingly impacts Black and minority students, in the state. $6,700 on average they're losing under this proposal. I think it's horrible. Students that qualify 20 ACT right now for the health grant would, lose about $4,000 on these proposals. I think, really need to think about people that really need,
Thank you, Senator Hollowell. Is there anyone else wishing to debate? Senator Monroe? Okay, anyone else wishing to debate? Yeah, Senator Greenwald.
I just want to say briefly too, that in relation to merit, merit isn't everything. And I think what this new bill is trying to do is trying to base it more around merit, and merit might be in favor of quality, but it's not in favor of equity. Merit is blind and it ignores a lot of circumstances, and it ignores a lot of situations that people have encountered. And I think that this bill should certainly pass with unanimous consent, and I stand in affirmation of it. I yield my question.
Thank you, Senator Greenwald. Principal Flores.
I also think that it's important to mention the kind of direction that this takes us, right? So you're looking at cutting the maximum financial annual aid award to $4,000. And like the senator said, that's $4,000 lost for a student who next year will be done. Because our tuition rate is, incrementally raising, right? And we're putting it around $800 to $9,000, right? And I want you to consider the kind of gap that leaves behind for somebody who doesn't have $9,000 in the bank to begin with, or somebody whose mother who lives in a single parent home, who doesn't have enough resources to get by, or there's an emergency in their life, doesn't get by, if they simply need to if they're behind on the car payments, or car payments, how those incremental bills stack up on their lives, and how getting to college is really impossible whenever there's a gap above the standard rate of a loan. Right? We're talking about just finding these loans that people with merit deserve more money, but like we talked about, it's not giving more people more money, it's giving more people less money, and less means to actually use the money if and when we already know that people in the state with higher people and more merit are going to be leaving because of what the city actually is doing to them, and neglecting them, giving them opportunities, etc. And people who say, you're actually are actually just being left out. Right? It's a matter of actually making sure that we have people who can be here in 20 to 30 years without their statistical deadlines, their goals, right? That's not being met by this kind of revision, and that's why we should definitely have this.
Thank you, Principal Flores. Anyone else wishing to debate? Senator Monroe.
One final comment, and then I promise to stop talking. I just want to clarify if you're worried about this stifling merit in the city, which is not the primary goal for this institution in the first place. It's not going to help merit students either. It's actually going to decrease their bonus except in one specific category, which is high income, high ACT. So if you're concerned about this stifling enrollment of merit-based scholars here, it won't make an impact. In fact, it'll just disincentivize them further.
Thank you, Senator Monroe. Is there anyone else wishing to debate Senate Resolution 21-12? Okay, hearing if there are no objections, we will suspend the rules and move to a period of author summation. Do the authors wish summation time?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So I think most of our thoughts are on the table. For the most part, I just want to hammer home the idea that people deserve to have their government recognize them and their abilities, right? I think regardless of whatever their ACT score might be, we have, it's a different conversation, maybe still a relevant one, but that a lot of what your ACT score embodies is your opportunities from when you were literally 4 years old, 5 years old, entering education, able to develop systems where you could think like the test, right? The thing that sets me apart from a lot of helper sapiens, and I will just mention this very briefly, is that I got a really high score on the ACT. That's because I was actually very, very lucky to be around people my entire life who were not like me. I was surrounded by wealth in Ocean Springs High School, where a lot of people had those opportunities since they were very young. And I had to, I learned from them. I learned around them, the teachers, the people who could actually be there. But it was also funded by teachers who had very little money. Our state does not fund education the way it should be doing, the way it should be actually putting money into it, right? We look at the Help Grant right now. It's the most robust system that we have to keep people in college. It's one question to see kids go to college, but when you look at the data for having them actually graduate and get a degree, it is the most robust compared to MTAG or MESG, and it's the most robust for incentivizing them to actually stay. That's for a reason, right? And whenever those programs are having to, quote, balloon and become unfiscally stable, right? That's not because they're overly expensive. Look at the margin. It's $49 million per year allotted for these programs. And I know, I'm not looking at data. I just know the data, right? It's $49 million allotted these programs per year. And they're having to incrementally make it more and more because kids are staying, because kids are actually using the money and it's actually being effective and being robust. Then you go the complete opposite way. That's not the way you govern. That's not the way you actually make policy. I don't understand why this is the idea that you're going to make a more equal state in the future, 20 years from now, by 2035, 2040, people won't be here in 2035, 2040, whenever you don't have an educated workforce or people who actually want to stay here. That's all I've got to say. How about you, Maddie?
Again, just echoing things that I said in the introduction, that Mississippi should be pursuing financial aid policies that are student-centered, goal-driven, and data-informed. The state is brimming with the generation of enthusiastic students who are desperate for the tools and opportunities they need to change the world. We don't need to be pushing them out of the state's education system, or better yet, push them out of a chance at higher education, the chance that Mississippi should be providing to all of its students. And we yield the remainder of our time.
Yep. All right. If there are no objections, we'll suspend the rules and vote by acclamation. All right, great. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Okay, well then by unanimous vote, Senate Resolution 21-12 passes. All right, is there an author present for Senate Resolution 21-13? All right, you may come forward. Yeah. You'll have 5 minutes.
All right, y'all. So we had hoped that this issue wouldn't have to come to a point of authoring legislation, but through meetings with students and faculty, we have concluded that there is simply no other option. Students at the University of Mississippi do not feel adequately supported when it comes to mental health, and as student leaders, it is our job to stand up for our constituents. The resolution that you see today is simply asking the university to acknowledge the problems that we see at the University Counseling Center and to adapt to better support everyone that comes through their doors. As a student who has used UCC, I know for a fact that the current wait time for an initial assessment and the counseling appointment in general is about 2 weeks, which tells us that students are utilizing this source, but we simply don't have the workforce to be able to get students in a timely fashion. The current freshman class coming out of the pandemic was 3,600, which is in this year's freshman class, which is the biggest increase in a class in university history. Along with this, students who are within a minority group do not feel adequately supported due to a lack of diversity within the UCC. Almost all of the counselors on staff are white and simply cannot relate to certain social problems that certain students face. We need to employ more counselors that are within minority groups, whether that be in the physical UCC location or as telehealth professionals, which is a source that more students have opted to use. At this time, I'll let Senator Pierce speak on this resolution.
As Taylor just said, many people I've spoken to, and myself, have experienced wait times of 2 weeks or more for the counseling center, which frankly deters people from using the center at all. Obviously, COVID has strained mental health resources, yet the university hasn't responded adequately, and students are left to bear the burden. Currently, there are only 13 counselors employed by the counseling center, 5 of which are graduate assistants. 13 counselors for an undergraduate student body of 18,800 students. As class sizes increase and the number of faculty to accommodate, The university needs a more robust strategy to hire counselors and to use funding effectively. Given the difficulty in finding counselors, especially of minority background, this resolution implores the university to explore alternative options, including partnering with private counseling centers in the Oxford area and beyond. Although other counseling centers have experienced similar problems relating to hiring new counselors, opening a dialogue with counseling centers in the area would be a great place to start assessing all of the options. This conversation between the university and counseling centers could look at telehealth options and opportunities to work with city government to brainstorm even further. In preparation for this resolution, Senator Kelly and I have met with Dr. Jeter, and Senator Kelly met with Dr. Forget. These conversations gave us greater insight into the current mental health efforts by the university, but these meetings also showed us that the university is struggling to make effective progress given the challenges presented by COVID especially. Passing this resolution does not mean the work is done. It would just be the beginning. Passing this resolution tells the university that the student body does not feel supported to the fullest extent when it comes to mental health, and that creative solutions must be found. I kindly ask you to all vote in favor of this resolution. We yield the remainder of our time.
Thank you, authors. Is there anyone wishing to question the authors on this resolution? Okay, well then if there are no objections, we'll move into a period of debate. Great, thank you. All right, is there anyone wishing to debate Senate Resolution 21-13? Yeah, Senator Mattson.
Okay, so two things. First, mental health is awesome. I feel like it's something that we talk about again and again and again and again. And at some point, it felt like we were just kind of running on a treadmill where we're getting nowhere. But really and truly, I commend both of these senators and the entire committee of student life on really pushing forward for this initiative and for this resolution. I think it's going to put forth actionable change. And when I say that, I remember it was at one of the last informal Senate we had. One of the people that was talking about mental health said, well, we don't know if you want to do anything because you won't say anything. You won't say that you want something done. And I feel like this is a great opportunity to say very firmly on the desk of the chancellor, this is something we want done. Because at the end of the day, it's not just affecting a small group, it's affecting the entire university. If somebody is in a really bad point, whether it's finals, it's with COVID, college is stressful for a reason. And they've decided, I need help, I need counseling, which is already a big step. When they see a 2-week or more waiting list, that instantly cancels out so much more momentum, or even the chance that they go there. It's honestly outrageous when I heard it for the first time. So I really commend both these senators. This should be, that's my opinion. This is the chance to actually make a change in something that's really struggling, and to really try to push the university to say, hey, the students see this as a problem, we want to do something about it, let's get it up. Yield the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Senator Mattson. Senator Osmond?
So Senator Mattson kind of saw my thunder because I was going to talk about how the informal Senate, they wanted a student opinion and use good points. So first of all, thank you for bringing that up. But I also just think one of the biggest things that people talk to me about, just knowing that I'm an ASB, is they always mention mental health. I think that is one of the only things on this campus that most of us can agree on. And I think that that is something that we really struggle with. Like they mentioned during author's presentation, we only have 13 counselors. I honestly just think that is utterly outrageous, especially with all of the increases in alcohol consumption, substance use, and just general higher rates of anxiety, higher rates of depression that all came out of the pandemic. I think that this university needs to do the most it can do to serve its students. I've had many friends who wanted to attend counseling and they went and tried to get an appointment. In the initial assessment, they said it was going to take 2 to 4 weeks. They said, I don't have 2 to 4 weeks. So they went to a private option, which they have to pay that out of pocket. And as college students, a lot of us can't really afford to do that all the time. So I really don't think that there will be any problems passing this, but really just want to condemn the senators for doing, sorry. It's kind of long. Commend the senators for the work that they've done on this, but also as a body and as a whole, we need to work to destigmatize all of the ideas around mental health. So many times, anytime I mention to people that I've gone counseling before, they look at me like I'm insane. I'm like, am I the boogeyman? Like, is there a problem with saying that? I don't think I look like that. So I really just think we need to work on destigmatizing it, and that is something that we can all work on every single day, regardless of passing legislation on that. But regardless, please pass this with unanimous consent.
Thank you, Senator Osmond. Senator Monroe.
So I feel like oftentimes when people talk about mental health, it's very easy to be like, yeah, it's really tough, it's bad, we need to work on it. This is one of those times where we have a really well-researched bill, really well done, it's a great resolution, and this is kind of the time where we can make an actual change in our community. And also in the Senate Code of Ethics, it talks about how we have to put students first, and we always have to think about how everything will affect the student in his education and training. And first and foremost, what determines a lot of times how you can do in class, how you do on that test is your mental health. You know, if you're not there, you're not going to do well on that test. So this is an opportunity to really try to start making changes for the better on this campus and for better outcomes as well academically.
Thank you, Senator Monroe. Senator Harris.
Yes, I feel like I always want to talk, because I was from like a personal standpoint, and I do want to apply to senators that got up and talk in this situation. As a person who seeks to do counseling this semester, just overwhelmed by all the schoolwork I had, my personal life issues and different things that was all together. I also did get put on a 2-week wait list. And with that being said, I never even attended. And the reason why is because at the time I was very overwhelmed. I felt like I needed it right then and right there. And then when that 2 weeks passed, it's either I didn't have time to go because things piled up, or like previously said, I lost the momentum to go. Like I lost the urge to go because I don't know. And so I don't want to really waste too much of my time to speak on is how important it is, because so many senators have already done that. But I do want to talk about the long-term effect of having a healthy mental state has on students. It's not even just academically. Of course, we know that positive mind could definitely affect your academics. But also when it comes to relationships, most students who deal with depression and anxiety, constantly in their room, disconnect from the world and isolate themselves. And I feel like with better counseling services, let's do to do that, and that will give them more time to like really be out and really connect with the world, really connect with all the opportunities here. And also just form a relationship with their people as well. Like I feel like when I was going through a lot, I lost a lot of good connections, and it's due to that, and then that's just ruining the whole college experience. So I feel like a good mental health goes beyond academics, but also personal as well. I use the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Senator Patterson.
So be really quick. So I'm really glad that this piece of legislation came about at this time, especially because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And on top of that, this is the time of year that for a lot of people, such as myself, seasonal depression begins to come into play. So having this come in, seeing that we are lacking the counselors needed for people such as myself to have access and without having us had financial strain by going off campus, I think this is something that should be unanimously passed, and that is something that is great timing to see that students are taking initiative to push this through. I give them my time.
Thank you, Senator Patterson. Senator Wilson.
Okay, yeah, so doing a lot of research for this bill, we looked at a lot of other universities, and it was very obvious that we are doing it adequately as far as mental health is concerned, and we don't want to just strive for adequate. We want to be going above and beyond for mental health resources, so we definitely need to pass this so we can look at even more incredible things. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Senator Wilson. Senator Hollowell.
Yeah, so we went to another SEC school that had pretty good health services that allows you to go for free. I think at some point they didn't want to find that you go, but you could go for free. So I was constituent to complain that they don't have the correct insurance. They didn't have Blue Cross Blue Shield, so they weren't able to go. They had to go find someone that was out of pocket. So it's a really high barrier for having to pay for something that really the school should be providing. So yeah, I've been both an actor solution.
Thank you, Senator Hollowell. Is there anyone else wishing to debate? Senator Madsen.
Okay, so this is just one last thing, but over last year, especially when COVID was going on, I was having meetings with the Chancellor Boyd trying to figure out what's up and what's down and some of the stuff. And one of the things that I remember he mentioned, like pretty vigorously, was mental health resources. And I just find it so ironic that we, like other senators said, we rank so poorly when you look at any other collegiate school, any other SEC school when it comes to the amount of resources that we have. It shows that there's a disconnect between wanting to have something actually done and just saying that you're going to do it and actually doing it. It's saying that, yeah, mental health is a priority, but let's just wait around for a bit. Let's some random get together thing, we'll do a walk, people can get outside, it'll be good. If mental health can't be fixed with a walk, if that was the case, then the world would be a lot happier. But when it comes down to it, we need to really push forward that this is a point that students care about, that students need, students are willing to advocate to work for and fight for. Because they've said that they're interested in it, we're just not seeing it. We're just not seeing any of that type of increased resources. We have 13 counselors for over however many thousand students that we have. That isn't good enough. This resolution being passed will show that it's not good enough. You have the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Senator Mattson. Is there anyone else wishing to debate this resolution? Okay, if there are no objections, we will move into a period of author summation. All right, do the authors wish summation time?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no objections, we will suspend the rules and vote by acclamation. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Okay, by unanimous vote, Senate Resolution 21-13 passes. All right, we will now move into a period of senatorial comments. Is there anyone wishing to comment? Senator Osmond.
Well, first of all, great work tonight. I know it was a little bit longer tonight, but I think that we talked about a lot of great things. First of all, the SAM. Please reach out to Alex if you have any questions on that. I really didn't understand the SAM until I got really involved with organizations my friend just created, and I didn't understand all funding requests, all that stuff. So it's really interesting, and I really think that's a really interesting topic to be thinking about. And then just like the things that we got up today, talking about the health grant and also talking about mental health resources. Seriously, it's our job as senators to spread the word and get these initiatives out. And I really think that both of these things, we could really make a more of an effort to be talking to people about this, especially health grant. A lot of people don't really understand what's happening, what change is happening. I didn't really understand it. Principle of engagement, cross-cultural engagement, this is great reason why it really helps me understand it a lot. So I really think if anybody wants to get involved with that, please. Let's see. I hope they help. Please remember it. I just couldn't. So follow the Instagram, try to get involved, because it's a really great initiative and it's really applaud Andy for getting on that. It's really awesome work and it's really great work for our state as a whole, but also just with the mental health resources. It takes an army and to destigmatize mental health every night. It's not going to happen. So really just keep in mind what you say to people and things like that. It's really easy to kind of sometimes just make jokes out of things, not really think about things through when someone is going through a hard time. But like Senator Patterson said, we're all kind of going through that season of depression right now. Finals. So just be thinking of that. I'm sorry. I'm not putting this one today. So just be thinking about that. Think about your friends. Check up on your friends. Check up on your family. Like you know what's going on with people's lives. Even acquaintances. Just small someone in the hallway. It always makes you feel better. Even if you feel reading my song. So I don't know. But as always, if y'all ever need anything, please.
Thank you, Senator Osmond. Is there anyone else wishing to make a comment? Senator Mattson?
Okay, this is the last time. I know my committee members have literally been hearing me preach at them for like the past however many meetings. Write it down in your calendars. I don't care how you remember it. This next Tuesday, the 16th at 5 p.m. This is where it actually gets hectic. This is where external affairs hits the fan. It's going to be the most interesting alderman meeting of your life. Be there. Reach out to me if you're interested in it, so I can get you a community engagement point. And if we are late to it, we can get that excused. This is student advocacy in its purest form. So please, if you're interested, reach out to me and get that going.
Thank you, Bennett. And I don't know off the top of my head who meets on Tuesday evenings, but if your committee meets on Tuesdays, committee chairs, if y'all will allow them to go to that or go to it yourselves, that'd be great. And that'll be excused. Okay, Senator Pierce.
Senator kind of did this earlier, but in case you didn't hear, the reason we didn't run through that other resolution tonight about faculty wellness, that resolution was highlighting the employee assistance program here, which is administered through the HR department, which essentially offers all faculty members 4 counseling sessions per calendar year, 3 of which you have to pay $30, and that's like very low compared, like very inadequate compared to almost all other schools for faculty resources. And we are going to present that resolution tonight, which asks the university to provide more to faculty, but then think Thankful for Dean Marsh and Richard. We, as of yesterday, the Human Resources Department on campus announced that they are introducing a supplemental employee assistance program. And I can read a little bit of that memo. It says employees will have 24/7 access to licensed counselors for in-person, virtual, and telephonic counseling sessions. We recognize that employees may from time to time experience stress, trauma, or other life events that affect both their personal and work life, impacting their overall quality of life. The supplemental EAP offers confidential professional assessments, counseling services, and an extensive library of health resources for employees to help them address such challenges. Performance coaching, training resources are also available for employees and supervisor and management positions. So essentially, I'm saying all this just to say that, though we didn't get to present our resolution tonight, we are thankful that we didn't have to, but the university is making a better stride, a bigger stride to provide mental health resources to the faculty.
All right, thank you, Senator Pierce. Is there anyone else wishing to make a comment? All right, we'll now move into a period of announcements. Is there anyone wishing to make an announcement? Yeah, Caitlin, we'll go to first.
Okay, so I have quite a few for programming. We have ASB 365 tomorrow, and if you all can please come, that'd be really nice. We're going to be partnering with the Student Veterans Association. Our event got canceled last week because of the training, and so they are passing out jelly sandwiches and talking about food insecurity. But we're combining with them to talk about seeing a veteran in your classroom. A lot of you do have veterans in your classroom and you don't know it. So please come out for that. Adoption basket donations are happening right now. So please sign up for that. And then next week we will assemble and distribute the baskets. And then, so talking about legislation tonight, the health grant, we are tabling for the health grant next Monday. And so there will be a sign up sheet for that. So please reach out. And on the topic of programming your legislation doesn't have to stop here. Programming and advocacy relations are always here to help you program for any kind of special topic or concern you have. We are in the works of programming for next semester. So if you would like to reach out to us and talk to us about any kind of events that you would like to see, please reach out to us. There's a mental health resource bank online that needs to be updated because when the student life chair left this past year, it was never officially handed off. So that is something that to look forward to on the website. And then we are also having an open seat election next week, and petitions are out and are due next Monday.
Thank you,
Any
Kate.
questions?
Anything? Awesome. I was gonna make the announcement about Adopt a Basket. Was that everything that we needed to cover for that? Okay, awesome. Lila, did you have an announcement?
The help save will run as a constituency.
Yes.
Point that is some of this may be struggling on.
Yes.
And so is Adopt a Basket.
As well, Adopt a Basket. And 365 tomorrow. Lots of options.
Lots of options.
Yes. We'll go to Executive Assistant Wilbur.
Guys, I know you're probably tired of hearing me say this, however, there are only 7 people in this entire room who have completed their constituency engagement quota for the entire semester, and most of them have actually gone above and beyond, gotten 6 or 7 points. These are mandatory. You do have to have 5 to retain your seat, all right? Please, if you have any questions, Caroline can answer them, I can answer them. If you're having issues finding those opportunities, again, please reach out, ask us. I'm still accepting points from events in August, guys. Like we're pretty flexible. If you think you've done something that counts, but you're not sure, just ask. Most likely the answer is going to be yes. And if you want to check how many points you have or you're not sure, you can just come up to me. Like I have a whole spreadsheet for it. I will let you know.
Yeah, I was gonna add on that and say, I'm pretty sure my number's still in the senatorial comment. If you want to text me and even ask me like, will this count as a constituency engagement point, or like, can you help me find constituency engagement like opportunities? And I would love to research for you, so.
We have a crack constituency engagement team here for y'all, so they'll be willing to help. Yeah. Caitlin.
If y'all are getting a constituency engagement point for ASB 365, if you just send me a picture with the timestamp of like the hour you're like leaving and send it to me, your form gets completed by me, and I live on Richard for Abby, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yep. And those can be paper or virtual, whichever y'all prefer. Yeah, Senator Harris.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I have all my points by house.
how do I get those submitted or like approved?
Yeah, Abby, you want to answer?
Yeah, so guys, in order for me to count your point, you do have to give me your constituency engagement form unless it's something where like Richard has said, hey, I've sent her a picture, you're good. So if you attended an event and you did not submit that form to me, your point is not on the sheet. I'm not saying that means it doesn't count for one. However, I have no idea of that you were there or what happened. If you go onto the ASB drive and you click legislative council, under the folder executive assistant, there is both a fillable PDF, just a regular PDF. You can fill that out, email it to me. You can print it out, fill it out, leave it with Richard in his office. You can take a picture of it and email it to me or text it me, turn it into me at Senate. Any way that works for you, I will accept that, but please make sure you're sending me those forms. Otherwise, that point is not in my database. Does that answer your question?
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Senator Harris. Yeah, Senator Beard.
I also have a question.
Yeah.
So if I am like filling out the form, and then if I don't have his signature, do I still send it to you? Or like, what if it was like from like September?
So you do need proof that you were there. If the event was like ASB 365 or something, that Caitlin, you don't need a second signature. If it was like an RSO event, if you can just have the president or something sign that, that's fine. If it was an ASB event, then the signature.
Yeah.
Or like, if I send you like me filling out the little, like a spreadsheet of like me signing up. Or something. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you can text any of us and we'll be happy to work with you. Awesome. Anybody else wishing to make an announcement? Okay, I have a couple. So yeah, Lila kind of hit on this, but about the SAF, I think Alex's presentation she's put together is really great. I want to encourage y'all. I know that she said she's going to be reaching out to RSO presidents and treasurers, but if all of us in this room are in one other RSO, that's like almost 50 or 60 more RSOs we can reach. So if y'all will just please put a bug in your officer's ear that this will be coming, or you can wait until next semester. But you know, like Lila said, she's in an organization that her friend started. So I'm sure they're going to get Alex's presentation at some point. If y'all please just do that, that would get the information out really well. Just a quick parliamentary reminder from me, just if you're able to stand when you're speaking, please do, just so that everyone on the live stream knows who's speaking and that we can recognize you in that way if you're able. Katie, did you have an announcement? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, thank you, Katie. I have an announcement about, in section 15, I believe, of the ASB Constitution, is something that has not, to my knowledge, been followed in a while. It's called the review of legislation review meetings. They're supposed to happen at the midpoint and end of each semester with myself, the leg monitors, and the rules committee, and then any of y'all who want to come. That is definitely on us and past officers for not following that, but I'm going to do it this semester. I just sent out an email to rules and leg monitors today. We're going to get a time schedule that works for us. And then any of y'all who are able, who want to come, that'll probably be during dead week. If any of y'all are able to come and contribute, the point of those meetings is to kind of like Dean Marsh says, close the loop or make sure that each piece of legislation that we put through is going on to the next action item so that we don't, have any, as Olivia likes to say, the ice cream machine and Rebel Market type scenarios where there's no follow through. So we're going to have that meeting during Dead Week, and I'll be sure to let y'all know when that gets scheduled for. And then my last announcement is I'm currently working on a leg branch survey of the semester. So it's going to be a long survey for y'all that's going to ask about everything from informal to formal Senate to meet your senator night, everything that we've been doing for y'all. It's going to be kind of long, but I really need to get you guys' feedback to make sure that next semester's as good as it can be. It's going to be anonymous, so y'all can tell me what you love, but tell me what you hate as well, so that we can change that and make sure that we're doing the best we can for y'all. And that's going to do two things. It's going to allow me to make next semester and future years better. But also, after having talked to Caitlin and Will and the advising team, we're going to give that opportunity as an absence forgiveness for y'all. So upon completing that, we'll take away an absence for y'all. I know that that'll be kind of a sigh of relief, hopefully. And that will be coming out probably right before Thanksgiving break, and y'all will have a couple weeks to work on that. But just, putting that on your radar, and hopefully that'll be good for y'all. But Any other announcements or questions about anything we've discussed? Yeah, Senator
We
Munson.
don't have any absences. Is that like a negative absence?
Okay, first of all, thanks for flexing on us for that. But I guess we'll talk about that on a case-by-case basis.
We'll probably credit it.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else wishing to make an announcement? All right. And then if y'all would, Katie's going to make an announcement right after we adjourn. Having concluded all business at hand, this meeting is adjourned at 8:47 p.m.